Good morning, my dear students. How are you today? Our lesson today is the same lesson we studied yesterday, which is congruent in right triangle. Congruent, congruence in right triangle. Congruence in right triangle. Today we are going to solve more exercise about this lesson. Let's start our exercise. In this example, we have two triangles ABC and triangle FED. We need to prove that triangle ABC congruent to triangle DEF. We need three conditions as usual. Condition number one, you have angle E congruent to angle B. You have angle E congruent to angle B. This condition number one. Angle E is congruent to angle B. Condition number two. You have AC is congruent to FD, the same hypotenuse. Hypotenuse here is congruent to this hypotenuse. So AC is congruent to FD. The third condition, you have BC is congruent to EF, here is 6 and also 6. BC is congruent to EF. Now we have the three conditions, so triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF by case HL. Case HL, because we have hypotenuse and leg. The next exercise. Here we have proved that triangle LMB is congruent to triangle OMN. We need three conditions as usual. Condition number one, we have NO congruent to LB, the same dashes. NO congruent to LB. NO is congruent to LB. Condition number two, you have LM is congruent to OM. Yes. And condition number three, angle NMO, this angle, NMO, angle NMO is congruent to angle LMP, this angle, by vertically opposite angle, LMP, VOA, vertically opposite angle. So the two triangles are congruent. Triangle LMB is congruent to triangle OMN. Another exercise. Prove that triangle RXV is congruent to triangle RTV. Let's check the three conditions. Condition number one, we have RT is congruent to RX. RT is congruent to RX. Condition number two, we have angle X, yes, angle X is congruent to angle T. What about condition number three? Who can tell me? Yes, we have RV is congruent to VR or RV, again, no problem. Common side, it's a common side. So the two triangles are congruent by three conditions. Another exercise. Prove that a triangle LJM congruent to triangle JLK. Let's write the three conditions. Number one, we have JM is congruent to what? JM is congruent to KL. Number two, we have JL common side. JL is also congruent to LJ or JL, again, no problem. Common side. Common side. What about the third condition? The third condition here, that angle MLJ, this angle, is congruent to this angle KJL. So angle MLJ is congruent to angle KJL. So triangle LJM is congruent triangle JLK by case HL, hypotenuse and length. Let's see another exercise. Given that BM is congruent to RJ, BM congruent to RJ, BT perpendicular to TJ, BT perpendicular to TJ, that means this angle is 90. M is the midpoint of TJ. M is the midpoint of TJ, that means this part is equals to this part because M will be in the middle. Prove that the triangle BTM is congruent to triangle RMJ. Let's check the three conditions. Number one, we have PM congruent to RJ. Condition number two, we have angle T is congruent to angle JMR. JMR, both of them equals 90. What about condition number three? Yes, TM is congruent to MJ. TM is congruent to MJ. So triangle BTM is congruent to the triangle RMJ. The next exercise. Given that HV congruent to GT, HV congruent to GT, that means this angle is 90 and this angle is 90. I is the midpoint of HV. I is the midpoint of HV. That means this part equals to this part. Prove that triangle IGH congruent to triangle ITV. Let's write the three conditions. Condition number one, we have GH congruent to TV. Condition number two, we have angle GIH, GIH is congruent to angle VIT. Both of them is 90 degrees. Condition number three, we have HI congruent to IV. So the two triangles are congruent. Triangle IGH and triangle ITV. Another exercise, and this will be the last exercise. Triangle LNB is isosceles triangle with base NB. Triangle LNB is isosceles triangle. That means this side equals to this side because it will be isosceles. MN is perpendicular to NL. QB is perpendicular to PL. ML is congruent to QL. Prove the triangle MNL, this triangle, is congruent to QPL, this triangle. Let's write the three conditions. Number one, the first condition is LQ congruent to LN. The second condition, angle LNB and LNM, this angle is congruent to angle LPQ, this angle. What about the last condition? The last condition is LB is congruent to LN from isosceles triangle, from property or properties of isosceles triangle. Isosceles triangle, because it's isosceles triangle, two sides are equal, LB and LN. I finished our exercise. I hope you understand this exercise well. Please don't forget your online assignment. Have a nice day. Thank you, boys.